some kind of recognition of Black History Month. We're going to start off today with a little scene from, a little segment from Swamp Angel, and it will be reflecting on the great institution of the African American Church. All right, we have some we're very blessed to have two talented people from the cast of Swamp Angel. They're here in the field, and Patricia Starks, we're going to take it away and bring it forward. Amen.
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 There's some things that I just don't understand about preachers. I mean, I'm not talking about the way they act. That's easy to figure out. I'm talking about little things.
Like what?
Well, I always wondered why most preachers use their initials instead of their full name.
Oh, yeah.
Like, Reverend E.B. Kirkendall. Reverend W.V. Birdsong.
Reverend B.C. Carey.
Yeah. Now, I was told that it was because most of the old-time preachers, they couldn't read or write their names, so they used their initials so that they wouldn't say it.
Well, there were some who couldn't read and write, but that wasn't the reason for the initials. You see, it started right after slavery.
That's right.
The churches started to grow after the emancipation proclamation, and people began to see that they had power. They built schools and churches and colleges. They sent missionaries to Africa. They even had home mission societies. You see, it was through our churches that we demanded respect. But there were some white people who were bound and determined to disrespect us, to disrespect our women and our leaders. Now, one way they would do this was always call us by our first name. It didn't matter how big our churches were or how much money we had. They would always tear us down by calling us by our first name. Now, you imagine your pastor being called George or Boy. Well, they decided no one would ever disrespect him, so when anyone would ask him their name, they would only give them their initials. Now, that's why preachers use their initials. Now, only a few people even know their full names, but they keep it to themselves.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
So you saying that that's why all preachers use their initials? That still don't explain how you got to use your initials.
Well, my daddy was born in Harlem, New York in 1906, and his father was a teacher at Tuskegee Institute in Alabama, and his mother was a student at the school. Well, grandmother got pregnant, but my grandfather, he never married her. And when he found out she was pregnant, he told her she was on her own. So she moved to Harlem where my daddy was born. She died when he was just 7 years old. So he had to make it on his own in the streets. Well, some musicians took him in, and he learned to do odd jobs for them. I mean, he learned to sing and dance, but he loved poetry. I mean, he memorized poems, and he'd stand on the street corner and he'd recite them. And people, he'd put money in his hands. Well, he knew from then on he would make his living from talking. Well, one day he was walking along and he found a briefcase lying in a pile of junk in front of the apartment. The apartment had a sign on it that said eviction notice, so my father took that briefcase and opened it up. And inside was a notebook with hand-scribbled notes and an old tattered Bible. Where he took that briefcase home and started reading that Bible, and soon after that, he heard his call to preach. I mean, his street corner poetry has determined to preach. Well, not long after that, preachers started asking him to preach for them. But, you know, usually at night services. I mean, he was a 12-year-old preacher. And he started drawing big crowds. Everywhere he went, he would take that briefcase with him. Well, one day he was walking to church, and somebody pointed and said, "Hey, ain't he that briefcase carrying boy?" Well, he decided that would be his name from now on. He said, "I am what I do. I'm briefcase carrier." Not long after that, the young Reverend B.C. Carrier preached his first sermon at Mount Moriah Baptist Church. When I was born, they named me after him.
Carrie, you expect me to believe that? You be lying.
Well, what makes you think that?
All right, what was your daddy's given name?
No.
No what?
so long, he might as well change his name now.
Gary, you know you be lying.
They ain't lies, they're just good stories.
Well, those good stories can get you in trouble.
Yeah? Good stories can also save your life. Think about it. A lot of this stuff had a lot of meaning to it. Like those hymns that we used to sing. People thought they were just hymns, but they were songs. Songs that told us about freedom and showed us what freedom was. Why don't you embrace us with one of those songs?
What?
Yes, please.
Let me see if I can think of,